Hello everybody, welcome to the Monday night live stream. As you can see, I have changed my location. I am now in front of my tank, which I thought would be pretty cool. I have a whole new setup, so hopefully my camera won't go out anymore. I got a new microphone, a whole new setup. So let me know how it's working, because I would love to know. Make sure everybody can hear me, make sure everybody can see me. It's gonna be a fun stream tonight. We are giving away, actually one of the viewers is giving away, and I'm giving it away for them, a Klir Filter. It's a Klir DI7, I believe. Yeah, no more camera timeout. You're not gonna see that anymore. I got that all fixed. I got a whole new setup, so hopefully you guys like it. Obviously, I'll probably go back to the green screen from time to time. Maybe I'll do a stream in front of my big tank. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm hoping this new setup is much better for you guys. So a lot's been going on since I spoke to you last. I can see the chat over here, no purple face. Yep, no purple face. Hopefully the setup's pretty good. I got the light going pretty good. You can see all my corals in the background. So yeah. So a couple things, you know, last time I spoke to you guys, I was in Orlando. I was at Top Shelf Aquatics. If you guys haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend that live stream. It was a lot of fun to shoot it. I had never shot anything live not from my house, so it was pretty interesting to do for once. We gave away some corals. Hopefully those people got their corals. Interestingly enough, there was a small little hiccup and they sent me those guys corals. So I have them. They are in this tank behind me. So I did put them to good use, but the people that did get the corals did get their shipped as well, I believe this week. Hopefully it got taken care of. What sky setting are you using on the tank? I just use AB+. That's what I've always used, you know. And my yellow wrasse is just a yellow Cory wrasse, nothing special. He's pretty good though at getting rid of pests, so that's why I have him in there. So anyway, today's topic is really going to be a Q&A. We did this, I don't know when we did this. We did this quite a bit ago, where I did the Q&As, just to ask me whatever you want to ask me. No guests tonight. It's just going to be me. And that's it. It's kind of just catch up on my subscribers to see what's going on with everybody. Haven't spoke to you guys in a while, haven't had a video in a while. I am editing a video, which was just taking some time. I've been pretty busy, so I do have a video of me visiting Aaron's aquaculture, who is here on the channel. Yeah, he's here. So yeah, I visited his home. I shot a video there, so that's going to be edited and coming out pretty soon. There's a couple things coming out that I'm going to be messing with. There is an auto feeder coming out, if you guys haven't seen. It's an automatic frozen feeder, which I'm going to hopefully get one soon and be able to test it for you guys. So that's going to be pretty cool. Let's see what's going on today. I was reading that I guess Vibrant had the EPA come in on them. I guess they went to their company and they're taking a look to see what's going on inside their Vibrant. I personally have never used Vibrant. I've always been one of those people that don't put chemicals in my tank as much as I can. I don't think putting chemicals in my tank is a good idea. I just kind of let it be. You know, I do put trace elements in, and I do put aminos in, and that's pretty much it in terms of chemicals. I don't really put any chemicals in my tank. Let's see. Did you set the skies to photo setting? I did not. My camera has the ability to adjust the white balance, so I'm able to adjust the camera itself so you guys can see it better. Let's see. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, in the hobby, I guess Ecotech has a new controller or something coming out. I have to take a look at it. I think it's called Leap. I'm not sure what it is. I got to take a look at it. I haven't had a chance, unfortunately. Let's see. What else is going on? Yeah, like I said, I was in Orlando. Me and the wife went to Disney World. It was a lot of fun. And we got to stop by Top Shelf, which was great. They were great guys. They let me kind of see whatever I wanted to see. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was interesting to shoot, for sure. I've never done something like that before. I really did have a good time doing it. It was a lot of fun for me, for sure. Another interesting thing is Terrence came here today, came to my home, which is interesting. I have met him before, but I knew he was coming out here, but I didn't know when he was coming out here, because it was a little bit of a surprise to me that he came to my house. I believe he recorded a video. I didn't really know he was recording the video, so there might be some interesting conversations between me and Terrence that were recorded. So, you know, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. Did he camp outside my driveway? No, he didn't, but it's interesting you say that, because he did have to fit his RV pretty far away from my house, even though I do live in a cul-de-sac, so it was a lot easier. Let's see. Are you still close with him since he left Neptune? I believe I'm pretty close with Terrence. You know, I wasn't upset, that's not the right word, but I was kind of disappointed that his reefing report, not little reefing report, but his reefing report had the top 10 YouTube guys and I wasn't on it, which I get. I mean, I know Mark doesn't really know who I am, so hopefully Mark gets to kind of get to know me and understand who I am. So, I don't know, we'll see. Let's see, any other questions? I'm looking at some of the questions here. So yeah, for people that are just kind of entering in, today is a good giveaway. It's a Klir roller mat filter. It's going to be DI7, I believe is the model number. And yeah, I wish, Gary, they would like me make me a guest. You know what? I'm not a big fan of streams on Sundays. Sundays is a little tough for me. So even if they do want to do a stream on Sunday, it's going to be tough for me to do it. So you put it on top of the 10 list. I didn't see it yet, so curious. Who would you have to put on your overall top 10 list? That's a really good question, Lee. Is my overlays working? To crop an overlay, drag, I'm just gonna have to read the comments, because it doesn't look like my overlay is working. I'll have to work on it later. Let's see, my top 10 YouTubers, huh? Is that what you're asking? I don't know if there's 10 that I can even mention that I watch. Let's see. You know, I watch Sam Parker over in Australia. Sam, his channel. When I first started out, obviously, I started watching Reef Dudes quite a bit. Devin, I watched him a lot. I actually learned about jellyfish from him, so it was interesting to watch him. He kind of got me into this whole YouTube thing. He started talking to me about it, started explaining like, hey, you know, it's not that difficult to do a live stream, it's not that difficult to make videos. I was like, okay, so always did it, and this is a lot of work. And you know, Aaron's Aquaculture here, who runs basically the channel with me, even though he says he doesn't, he kind of got me, hey, you need to do this kind of thing, and then I started doing it myself. So yeah, Reef Dudes, I'd say Sam. Let's see, any other reef? I don't watch a lot of reef channels, honestly. You know, it's one of those things where I'm not trying to boast or anything, but there's not much that I can learn from reefing. It's more me teaching you guys, because I've been doing it for so long. I don't really see anything on YouTube that I'm like, Wow, I didn't know that. It doesn't happen very often. So yeah, those two, I would say. I don't watch bulk reef supply anymore. I used to watch bulk reef supply when I was starting in the hobby. I'm sorry, when I was starting learning about alkalinity and calcium and all that, I started to watch their channels, but I don't watch bulk reef supply anymore. Most people know why I don't watch bulk reef supply. I know, DJ Mike Fury, that's the coolest thing. If you guys don't know, DJ Mike Fury here was watching my, he was watching my live stream at Top Shelf and apparently saw a Mastertronic like hidden on their shelf somewhere and called them up and bought it. I didn't even know there was a Mastertronic there. So that's pretty cool. What corals did you pick up from Top Shelf? I got a torch, which is sitting over here. I don't know if you could see it. I'm probably in the way. Let's see. It's right here. A little torch. And then I got a little hammer coral up here. And that's about it. I did get everyone else's corals, so the ones that I picked out for everybody else are in here also. Let's see, what corals did you pick up? I read that one. Yeah, you know, Randy, I didn't know Randy really well, but it was disappointing to see him leave. You know, they got so much stuff going on over there at Bulk Reef Supply that it's interesting. I have, as a business owner now and as a small business owner, I've been having a lot of trouble getting product. And I don't know, I don't think it's because directly of Bulk Reef Supply, but I believe it's the fact that they've kind of saturated the market. I'm finding it difficult for me personally to get product. But the same thing has been in my home automations as well. It's been difficult to get product. So I don't think it's directly related to Bulk Reef Supply, but I do notice when I go on Bulk Reef Supply, they got a bunch of product that I've been trying to get, and it's kind of like, you know, I wish I could have at least gotten a couple that I could sell, you know, but it is what it is. What are the dimensions of your tank? This is an Innovative Marine 100 INT. Yeah, it's an INT, so it's a 4 foot long. It was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting to hear in Randy's last video that he had no tanks. I don't think he ever had any tanks. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but it's possible that Randy isn't as into reefing as one would think. I don't know. I mean, again, these are just opinions. Let's see. How many people we got on the stream? About 24? That's pretty good. Yeah, share the stream, guys. I'm giving away a Klir Filter today, and you know, anybody that wants to come in and ask me any questions they want about anything, I don't care. But yeah, where I've been, people have been wondering kind of what I've been up to. Let's see. I've been working on my reptile projects, and that's been taking a lot of my time. Obviously, I'm working. I have to run a business, and yeah, I went to Disney World for a week. I needed that kind of time off, and then Monday nights were just difficult for me. I've been just working and a little bit tired and just difficult to get on, and obviously I have this whole new setup and I wanted to test it, and I just wanted to give it some tests before I started using it. But that's kind of what I've been up to. Nothing crazy. I'm gonna try to do at least 2 live streams a month. If I can do more than that, that's great. But I'm going to try to do at least 2. And I do have some people coming on soon, so there's going to be some fun ones coming up for sure. I can promise you that. Which Disney park was my favorite? I have to say the Animal Kingdom one. The animal one was awesome. Seeing all the animals. Let's see. How often should you calibrate your salinity probe? You should only have to calibrate your salinity probe once. There's no reason to calibrate it multiple times. Those are MP40s. Someone asked what my which power heads I'm using or wave makers I'm using. Those are MP40s. If you had to say today which is better between Neptune and Hydras, what would you say? How about where you think each will be in 5 years? Let's see. Okay, so let me answer that question. I'm reading some of the comments. I'm always going to be a Neptune person in terms of what is best for me in my home. I do think that Neptune provides all of what I needed to do in my system. I think in most basic one tank systems, if you have multiple tanks, I think Neptune is the way to go. If you have one tank, I think Hydros has some great abilities that makes it simple and easy for people over that of the Neptune. Obviously, I started the channel to help people with the Neptune, so I'm hopeful that people do get a Neptune and see that there are people such as myself that are willing to help you. Excuse me. Oh, choked a little bit. So I think that honestly, they're both great systems. I use the Hydros for my reptile room. If you guys haven't seen, the reptile room video, I highly recommend it. It's not that it's reptile driven, it's more of showing you what the Hydros can do for you in a different setting other than reefing. So that's my quick and easy answer for that. Is he tall enough to ride the rides at Disney? Yes, I'm tall enough. How often should you switch out salinity probes? I would say switching out salinity probes is really when you start to see the numbers kind of act strange. I've had many salinity probes over, like Sid says here, I've had them for 2 or 3 years and never touched them, and they still are working great. I've never had my Flame Angel nip any of the corals, no. Bald 8 Bill, I don't think having 0 nitrates and phosphates in a tank is worth it unless you're trying to do what's called an ultra low nutrient or ULN tank, where your corals will kind of make a pastel type color. It's very difficult to have those type of tanks, in my opinion. You have to feed a lot of nutrients, aminos, I believe, to kind of keep those corals alive. I just don't really like it. But I would suggest having at least a little bit of both, if not more. I mean, these tanks behind me, guys, this tank behind me has a phosphate of 0.2 and a nitrate of like 10. And I've had that for months and months and months. You don't see any algae in here. The corals are all doing great, because I think nutrients is important to keep your corals healthy and looking colorful. I do have an algae turf scrubber, however, which helps me with diverting the algae to the algae turf scrubber. Furthermore, I am running bubble scrubbing, which I've mentioned to many people in the past that I think bubble scrubbing is awesome. People don't really believe it, but ever since I've done bubble scrubbing, I barely ever have to clean this tank. Like, I cleaned it today for the stream. I probably haven't cleaned it in, I don't know, 2 weeks easily. And when I say clean it, I mean clean the glass. Let's see, Tomini is my only tang. Yes, I believe I only have a Tomini in here, if I'm not mistaken. Derek, do you dose trace elements? I do. I dose, what do I dose? Brightwell trace, what is it? Trace replenish, that's what I use. Yeah, that yellow wrasse is a pain. Yellow wrasse, for those that don't have one of these, he loves to spit water out and get it all over the front of the glass here. If one has one apex on a reef tank and is considering monitoring a second freshwater cichlid tank, should one use just one apex, get a Hydros, get an apex? That's a good question, James. I have one apex that runs 3 tanks in my house. So for me, I find it easier to just go on to, until apex makes or until Neptune changes this, it's easy for me to get on my app and just see everything at once instead of having to flip between everything. So if you have a Neptune already, just add it to the Neptune. It's going to be cheaper, and I think it's going to be easier. However, if you were wanting them completely independent or separate, then yeah, I would consider getting either another Neptune or another Hydras. But like I said, I find it easier to go on my app and see everything all at once. And again, that's something Neptune, I've been wanting them to do, like Sid just said, tabs or something where I can switch between the tanks, but they don't have that right now. Bald 8 Bill, I would recommend highly that you look into, oh, what's the company? Oh my goodness, I just had it in my head and I totally lost it. Aaron's Aquaculture, if you're still here, type in what that company is that makes the phosphate and nitrate additives, and I highly recommend you start adding it. I can't remember the name of it. It's really cheap too, by the way. Are you dosing nitrates and phosphates? No, I do not. Brightwell makes neonitra and neophos. I never found those to work in my tank. I'm just being honest. I've never found those to ever work. The one I'm recommending, there it is, Greenleaf. I would highly recommend that. It's so much cheaper, and you can make just bundles of it for years. Do I have a dynamic dosing video out for Hydras? I don't have many videos out for Hydras because simply it's so easy to program. I haven't really found the need to do much with it. I don't know. I would say if it was me, I would look at the Coral View, what do they call, CCTV videos where they teach people how to do Hydras. I can probably make some Hydras videos, but I would feel that they were just too simple, or there's so many other people that are doing it. If there's a specific video you want me to do, just type in the comments of this video after it's done and I'll take a look at the comments. My flow in my tank. You know, I have a lot of flow. It's interesting, DJ Mike saying that looking at my torch, he's second guessing his flow in his tank. It's interesting because I read about this a long time ago when I was learning about kind of keeping Euphyllia. Euphyllia like a lot of flow. I think people don't realize when you have such little flow, while it makes them look kind of nicer, I find that they just don't do as well. So I have a lot of flow in my tank. As you can see, I have a lot of Acros on the top, but I also have some Euphyllias over here, and then I have a Agani, of course, over here, and there's just a lot of flow in this tank. Yeah, again, everyone knows my feeling on Hydras. I think they're fantastic products, so I'm going to continue to say that. I just feel that they're just not quite there for something of such a large magnitude like my system. And it would cost me just so much money to switch over. Yeah, so I run 3 tanks off of my one Apex, Jake. It's very easy. You just get modules. You know, I have PM1, PM2 modules on my other tanks. I have, you know, I ran a USB all the way across the house. So it's pretty easy, you know. But yeah, I would, you know, I would say people usually believe when they see a Euphyllia that if you pound it with a lot of flow, it's going to detach. Now that's true if you're pounding it with just a ton of flow, but usually they detach because there's something wrong, not because you're putting too much flow into it. So like I said, I push a lot of flow against them and they do great. What am I using for a heater? That's a funny question, Reef Hobbyist. I live in Arizona, so I don't find my heater ever turning on, but I have Phoenix heaters. I've had them for years, and they don't ever turn on. Ask Hydras to sponsor you. You know, I will never be sponsored, Manny. While it could probably help my brand, that's not what I'm about. I will never be sponsored by anybody. I do sell Hydros. I sell Neptune on my website. So that's as far as I'll go, I guess, with sponsorship. Let's see. What do you think Hydras needs to do to make it ahead of the controller world? The programming is really, I think, DJ Mike, where I say it's too easy, and when you try to do advanced, it's not very intuitive, in my opinion, as a programmer. So I think that there should be an ability to have an advanced programming setup and, let's just say, the simple setup. So when you have the advanced setup, you can do your if, ors, and all that stuff, maybe in line coding like Apex or something that's a little more advanced for people such as myself. I think that would really help. I know that's not what they want to do, and I know that's not something that they're thinking of doing, because that's not who they cater to. But to answer your question, I think for me, that would be where I could start to see Hydros more of a benefit for me. What do you use to color up your corals? I don't really do anything to color up my corals. I just do what I've been doing for many, many years, which is stability, keeping my tank stable. Like I said, putting trace elements and aminos. That's it. I really don't do much else. What external pump would you recommend for a saltwater mixing station? I use a Vectra from Ecotech, because it's pretty powerful and very quiet. So I don't know. I think most external pumps out there are loud. So if you can get a DC external pump, I think you'll be very happy with that. Use the heater's temp control or the EB832 to control heat. So what I always tell people, Brian, is that you want to have the controller itself at, okay, how do I say this? Let's say, again, these numbers, don't take these numbers with seriousness. Let's say I set my Inkbird to 75, and I set my Inkbird from 75 to 80, right? Let's say that's a 5 degree difference. Again, don't use these numbers. I'm just giving an example. I'll take the Inkbird from 75 to 80, and then I'll take the Apex from 76 to 79. And that's how I'll do it. So that way the Inkbird is your backup to your Apex. And that's how I think everyone should run their heaters. 510 209 reefer, what's next for Neptune? I don't know. I'm kind of, I don't know if it's upset is not the right word. I'm kind of bewildered? I don't know what the word is. You guys probably know the word. It's like you got Bertram, right, takes over them, and they got an influx of money, and they haven't released a single thing. And then you got Let's Talk Reef, right? And while I love Paul, like, where's Let's Talk Reef with all the new cool stuff? Like, I don't know what's going on over there, guys. I don't have any inside track. I hope they come out with something, because I'm telling you, Hydras is kicking their butt. Befuddled. There you go. Have I heard of too much iron turning red Acros green? I have never heard that before. Derek using the best algae grazer in it. I got one and it's really the best. Yeah, Tamini tangs are great for algae grazing. I don't know if you also saw I have what's called a Wallaby Angel. Wallaby Angels eat algae as well. Yeah, tank does really well. Would you run a heater setup on the same on the, yes, absolutely, Sawyer, absolutely. Hey Derek, what brand aminos do you use? And my issue with algae are affecting, I'll have to read that again, Christopher Martin. I use Acro Power. I've been using Acro Power for years and years and years. It's by far, in my opinion, the best, because you can dose it, you don't have to store it. You just shake it, every 2 months I shake it. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic product, Acro Power. And you can get it in gigantic, like, buttloads. Let's see. And any issue with algae or affecting an algae reactor. I don't know exactly what you mean. You'll have to retype that question because I'm not sure what you're asking. Why run heaters like that? Wouldn't you want the stress on the inkbird? No, so what I believe is that the inkbird is your backup. I think Apex is the main controller of the system. You want it controlling everything. The inkbird is the backup. That's how I look at it. I guess you could do it the opposite way, right? And when you say stress on the outlets, these outlets, you know, again, I've been running Apex for, what, 10 years? And I've never had an outlet fail. I have an outlet that goes off and on constantly for the calcium reactor. Never failed on me. I think these outlets are rated a lot better than most people think. But again, that's just my opinion. How do I dose my Acro power? I have a Neptune dose and I dose daily. I think, I don't know how much, 15 milliliters I think. Nothing crazy. Yeah, Reef Hobbyist, you know, I haven't bought anything from Bulk Reef Supply in quite a while. Again, I'm a dealer, so I can get a lot of stuff myself now. I don't know. There's not much I can say other than I'm not happy with the fact that it's come to let's just sell you everything. It used to be about us. Now I think it's more about making a profit. But again, that's just my own personal opinion. Have you heard of aminos create cyano or other algae? And I use Pax Bellum Algira and they say it will cause slime on the Cato. Okay, so I have never had aminos create cyano. Cyano, I might need some more help in this statement because I'm not super familiar with cyano, but what I can tell you is cyano comes generally because there's not good bacteria in your tank. So I don't think aminos really has anything to do with it. I think I've never had cyano in my tank, and it's because I run beneficial bacteria. I have enough nutrients in the tank to combat any type of dinos or anything that comes up in my tank. But I think, like I said, if there's someone in the channel that might be able to help a little more with cyano, I don't know how and why aminos would cause cyano in a tank. Let's see, I'm looking up here. I have never liked algae reactors. I use an algae turf scrubber due to the fact that you just said one thing, it creates a bunch of weird stuff in there. It's also something you have to clean often. I think an algae turf scrubber is just much easier, if you ask me. Yeah, NFB mentioned the Redfield ratio, which has to do with your ratio between phosphates and nitrates in the tank. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's any other questions that I like here. Why don't you carry GHL? I don't carry GHL because they won't have me as a dealer. I mean, that's what it is. What ORP level is best? You know, that's an interesting question. I think people read into ORP a lot. You know, I don't really monitor my ORP, even though I run Ozone in both of my tanks. I've been running Ozone for years and years and years and years. I would say it's more important to make sure your ORP isn't high. I don't know if there's an actual like number that's perfect. It really is the oxidation in the tank. So not the oxidation, I forgot what it is. Trying to remember what ORP is. And anyway, I don't really care about the ORP as long as it doesn't like skyrocket, because again, I'm running Ozone. I don't really monitor ORP that much. Redux, there you go. Sorry. What bacteria do you dose? I don't dose bacteria. If I said I did, I didn't mean I dose bacteria. I use Dr. Tim's gels. I've been using them for years and years and years. Of the slow releasing bacteria. I put them in the sump and I call it a day, and that's all I do. What are the benefits of those MP cards? I love the guards. They just look nice. I don't know if there's a benefit to them. I don't have to worry about anything getting into them, any fish, I have a bunch of shrimp and crabs and snails, and they're fantastic. I believe, I forgot who makes these. It might be Neat Aquatics that makes them. I think they're awesome because instead of these going over the existing ones, you just take the old one off and you put this right on, and it basically replaces it. Let's see, I run ORP to 6400. I think running Ozone relatively simple. Oxidation redux. Yeah, I was close. You know what? I've never really looked into ORP. I used to know what it was exactly, but it's been a long time. Let's see. Okay, so running Ozone, it's interesting. A lot of people are scared to run Ozone. I've never been scared to run Ozone. It's pretty simple. You just, as long as you have an ORP probe in your tank, you just turn that sucker on, and if it gets above like 400, you just turn off your Ozone. I mean, that's pretty much all you do. And I've never seen any issues in my tank due to Ozone, ever. I run it on all of my tanks. So it's pretty simple to run. Whether or not you should run it, I would say it's not something you should run on a tank that's new. You should give it a couple years before you start introducing Ozone, and you definitely want to introduce Ozone slowly. So you want to turn it up to maybe, I don't know, a quarter of the knob like mine, and run that for like a couple days, see if your corals are still extending and doing well. If you start to see some issues, turn it down. Let's see, how do you know how much Acro power to run? There's some directions on the side. Honestly, you can't really overdose it. I mean, I guess you could, but I would say with Acro power, in my opinion, the more the merrier, because again, it's not only feeding the acros, right? It's feeding all of your corals. Even though it says Acro power, it's feeding all your corals, aminos. So I think the more the merrier. I think your nutrients, you got to be careful of. If you're putting too much of it, your nutrients can really start going up. So just play with it, but I would just follow the directions. That's what I did. Thoughts on the Mastertronic? So far, the Mastertronic's been fantastic for me. There's a couple things. I'm not sure about its accuracy on certain tests, but it gives me alerts. Unlike the Reefbot, it does the test. It tells me when I need to replace something, which the Reefbot doesn't do any of that. So I'm very happy with it. It's been fantastic. The phosphates have been exactly what ICP said. The nitrates have been exactly what ICP says. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I test, I don't run a UV sterilizer. I have really no reason to run a UV sterilizer. I don't have algae issues. I do have an algae turf scrubber, right? So running a UV, there's a potential that it would kill my algae turf scrubber. So I just would never run a UV on the system. Since I am running Ozone also, I don't see the need for it. Now, let me repeat what I just said. They do two different things, but if you're buying a UV for clarity, there's no point in buying one, which is why I would buy one, because I'm running Ozone, like I said. I do run a UV and Ozone on my fish only tank. The reason I do that is because it helps with eradicating you know, ick and other parasites. So it's important for me in my fish only tank. In this tank, I want a lot of biodiversity. I don't want anything to be killed off, even though we all know the ozone's going to kind of do the same thing. But I don't want to kill off all the beneficial bacteria or anything beneficial in the tank. So I don't run a UV on my tank. Where is the Reefbot destruction video? That's a great question. Someone decided to take my Reefbot and haven't heard from him. So I don't know when we'll see the Reefbot again. Let's see. I'm not talking about sports. I just happen to have this hat on today because I can't find my Reef Automation hat. I think it's important to run carbon with ozone. Carbon does a great job of reducing the overall toxicity of ozone in the tank. It also reduces the smell on things that are toxic to you by having carbon in the tank. So I recommend doing both. I don't see the need to run 2 pH probes. I don't see the need. I mean, if one pH probe fails, you're going to know it's failing. I mean, usually you can tell when a pH probe fails. It'll usually do some really crazy things like completely drift up or completely drift down. Can I make more videos on using the Breakout box? I have a great video on the Breakout box, Gary. I think I've kind of explained how to use it to its fullest ability. So I think if you take a look at my what is it, Harry's box or Harry's button box, that's pretty much mostly what the Breakout box does. I can never find the nitrate test for the Mastertronic. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. You mean you can't find it in terms of purchasing it, like the Tropic Marin? Because if you can't find it, I could probably order it for you. Do I have a video on my ozone setup? No, but it's pretty simple, Jim. All I'm doing is taking the ozone into my skimmer, and then I have the ORP just turning off the ozone when it gets too high. That's really all I'm doing. But again, the Apex is doing all that. Yeah, Devin went crazy with ozone. Ever thought of leaving the hobby? No. Mike, for people that don't know me personally, I have a lot of hobbies. This isn't my only hobby. And I love hobbies. I love keeping myself busy. So yeah, no, I won't be leaving any hobbies. I mean, I got, you guys can see the tank behind me, but I got 2 other tanks I got to take care of, along with 22 reptiles. So I enjoy my hobbies, so I don't see that ever happening. Yeah, I'm sure Jonas said there were some issues with the Tropic Marin reagent, because I have said, and I think I mentioned this a little earlier, that there's been some accuracy issues with the Mastertronic, specifically on the nitrate, so that makes sense. Again, I will probably say this a few times in my live streams. I don't really monitor much anymore. My tank kind of just does what it does. I don't really, and this is how I've always presented this to new reefers or people that are struggling with their tanks. It's always the same. It's kind of always the same thing that I tell everyone, which is just leave it alone. Just let it do what nature's going to do. And that's what I did with my tanks. You know, I don't really, even if the nitrate test, okay, let's say the nitrate test was way off, right? I would notice in my tank, right? I would notice maybe some algae. I'd notice some corals dying. I'd notice issues. But if I'm not noticing any problems, then I don't care really what the Mastertronic tells me. The Mastertronic says I have 40 nitrate, and I look at my tank and I go, oh, well, my corals look fantastic. Does it really matter what my nitrate level is? I mean, it doesn't. Again, if there's an issue, I think you would notice. So I think people put way too much emphasis in trying to change things that might not be an issue. You see what I'm saying? I think the Algae is fantastic. I think the Mastertronic is also fantastic. So I think they're great if you can get one. Do I love fish more or corals more? I would say I like fish more because they're easier to take care of. Corals, you know, you got to worry about placement. I mean, as you can see, I got so many corals back there. I got to worry about them fighting with each other, or I got to worry about lights getting on top of each other. I got to cut them. There's a lot to do with corals, right? Fish, you just throw them in the tank and feed them. All of my tanks, and I mentioned this before, Brian, in multiple live streams. If you're new, I use Dainichi pellet food. I've been using it for 20 years. Seriously, 20 years. That's all I feed my fish. I do not feed them anything frozen. I never have. I don't feed. I mean, I put like algae. Strips in there for the tangs, but I have never fed my fish anything other than Dainichi. So I think Dainichi is the greatest food there is. That's just that's how I've always felt. So if you've seen my fish in my other tank, maybe I'll show it in another live stream. All my fish in here are healthy and doing great. They're all fed Dainichi. Do you think ozone helps with chemical warfare? You know, I don't know on reefer. I've heard that before, but I just don't know. I don't sell any of my corals, no. I need to upgrade, yeah. You know how hard it was to build this tank? I bought an ozone meter and the ozone by my tank and other rooms outside the same. Ozone is safe. Yeah, that's true. Yep, Dainichi. That's correct, Brian. You spelled it absolutely correct. It's hard to get. I usually get it on Amazon. I get it in bulk because it's harder to find. You want to buy the Marine Veggie and the Marine FX. You do not want to buy the cichlid food. You do not want to buy any of the other Dainichi food. You want to buy this one specifically for marine fish. They have a veggie one, which gives them all of their all the veggie eaters what they need, and you have a meat one that they give that gives all your food or the meat. So again, I don't feed frozen. I find it to be a pain in the butt. However, we do have that frozen fish feeder coming out that I'm probably going to test, so I might just throw in some ISIS, you know. There's no Terrence dirty secrets. Strangely enough, when Terrence came over today, he was in a hurry, so we didn't really get to spend much time together, which was unfortunate. But, you know, it was nice to meet his wife and get to spend some time with him. I unfortunately haven't been able to watch his reefing report. I've been so busy, but I do want to go on there. I am a Patreon for Reefing Report. I do support them. I don't have a Patreon really. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't have time to give you guys extra stuff for paying money. It's just not. I just don't have the time. I would love to see a review of I would love to see a review also. That's why I'm gonna try to get it. It's made by ID Design or something. I can't remember. It's on the Reefing Report actually. I don't have a link, DJ Mark Fury, to the dry food. Like I said, I would check Amazon. I've had to buy it on eBay before. I've had to buy it from Australia before. It's difficult to get. I can tell you that much. Let's see. Actually, if you give me a minute, I can actually go grab the bag so you guys can see it. So if you guys come up with a couple more questions, and I'll come right back. All right. Okay, so here's the Dainichi. Oh. So this is the marine one. It comes in two different sizes. It comes in the baby and it comes in the small. There's no large or medium. It just comes in baby and small. So this is the Marine Veggie. And like I said, it's hard to buy. It's hard to find. The baby is super tiny. I don't even know what the millimeters are. But here's the key to this food, by the way, guys. I want you to notice something that it says, sinking. So what I love about this food is it does not, when I say does not, it does not float. So it literally just goes right into the tank, and it'll feed all your coral, it'll feed anything. So I really, really love it. How did you come across Dainichi, Mike? I've been doing this hobby for, I've been doing this since I was like 6 years old. And Dainichi, when I went to a fish store, probably when I was 15 or 16, it might have been older. I probably was like in my 20s. And I saw it and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's just some pellet food, but the amount of stuff it has in it, I was like, oh my goodness. So I started using it, and ever since I've used it, my fish have always looked great. I mean, I just saw it at a fish store. I mean, honestly, a long time ago, and I've been using it ever since. I hope they don't stop making it. It is from Japan, so they mainly have food for koi and cichlids, but they do have the marine as well. I use both in the AFS. I actually mix them together. I really don't want to open these bags. So I would say the smaller pellets, they're really, really small. So I would recommend, if you have larger fish, I would say if you have any type of tangs, I would highly recommend the small. And if you have smaller fish like anthias or damsels, or then I would recommend the baby for them. The baby is very small. They're very small pellets. The second one is the Reef Veggie, and then Marine FX. So you got Reef Veggie, see? And again, they both come in two sizes, and they come in gigantic bags. You can actually, this one is 1.1 pounds. You can actually get 8-pound bags of this stuff. They also have smaller bags too. And I will forewarn you, they are very expensive. So if you're looking for high quality food that does break the bank, this would be it. That's why I get it in bulk. I always get it in bulk. I usually buy the 8-pound bag, which is like $100, I think, and I have that for months, for months. I wish I could sell it. I wish I could figure out how to sell it, but no one sells it. You know, there's no distribution of this stuff. So anyway, let's see. What other questions do we have? There are about 30 people, and that's great, guys. Let's look at the contest. I haven't looked at it. Contest is, I got 21 people, so that should be fine. Yes, Sawyer, I can access my tank from the front. There's a piece up top here that comes right out. You probably can't see it, but there's a piece that looks just like the bottom piece at the top of it. So I'm curious, is there any guests you guys are wanting me to speak to? Is there anybody you want me to try to get on? I do have Greg Carroll coming on soon. I gotta get in contact with him. I gotta I got hopefully Carlos from Coral View at some point. I've contacted Paul from Neptune and still haven't got him. So I got some people hopefully coming on. I do not have a copper band butterfly fish, no. How old is the tank? So this tank is roughly, I would give it about 1.5 years old. However, this tank is not exactly 1.5 years old because everything in this tank was transferred from another tank I used to have for about 5 years. So the tank and most of the sand and some of the coral and the rock is from like a 6-year-old tank, I guess you can say. Yeah, Mike, I gotta be honest with you guys. The Neptune Sky, ever since I got the Neptune Sky, these things are growing like crazy. I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but I can tell you I went from a Radion Gen 4. My corals were not necessarily growing very fast. They were still always growing well. But once I put that Sky in, I'm telling you, I started getting growth like I've never seen. You'll never see me be in a hobby with guns, never. Let's see, how do you keep yourself motivated? I don't really need to be motivated, to be honest with you. My tanks are on overdrive. I just kind of, I come into the house, I get to see my tanks. There's really not much to it. There's nothing to be burnt out from because everything is automated. Which is why I do what I do, because I love to make things easy for people. Do I have a wet room? James, I have plenty of videos. I actually have to make a new video of my entire setup that's in the garage that runs the whole tank. I think I have like 5 videos on it. Yeah, this maroon clown is a real punk. He makes the sand, these sand piles. He used to be on the other side, now he's moved over here. I have asked Telegram Gary to come on, and he has never responded to me. I think the Gen 5s are very, not necessarily similar, but I think they're as good as the Neptune Sky, so I would presume you're going to get some good growth also. No, this maroon clown is a real punk that I have. He loves to make piles of sand everywhere. At least I have someone cleaning the sand. I actually have a lot of different fish in here. You probably can't see some of them, but I do have a Banggai cardinal. He's kind of right back here. You can't really see him. I do have a long-nosed hawkfish in there. I do have 2 harlequin shrimp in here as well. I have a cucumber that's really big in there. Let's see. I have a flame or a fire shrimp in there. I got a bunch of weird stuff in here. I don't even remember half of the stuff that's in here. I got a bunch of sea urchins. I wish I could take you closer to the tank, but I have my camera set up over here. So if you guys want to see the tank, Sammy, I did a whole video tour of my whole tank. I only have 1 Banggai cardinal. So I don't, in terms of kill each other, I notice a lot of people have trouble keeping them more than like a day. So I'm sorry, more than a day when they're in groups. So I agree with that. I don't think they eat each other though, or kill each other. I think something else happens. I'm not going to be at Rap or Aquashella, but there's a good chance I'll be at Magna this year. Time for an updated tank video. Yeah, I got to make a bunch of videos, so trust me, that's one of them. Yeah, all the clowns are jerks. My Clarkie in my other tank bites me all the time. This one's a real punk. I mean, a real punk. But that's a maroon clown. For those that have never had maroon clowns are pretty aggressive. So yeah, he's pretty aggressive for sure. And yeah, I'll move a little bit out of the way so you can see some more stuff. But basically, I got a whole group of rock anemones here. I got a bunch of just cool stuff. I'm not tired, Manny. I got these new contacts and they've been kind of bothering my eyes a little bit. But yes, I was actually supposed to have eye surgery and decided not to go with it because they wouldn't be able to fix my issues. Is it? Yeah, there's one of my harlequin shrimp right here. That's a harlequin shrimp right here. I got two of them. Water change routine. I have an automatic water change system that I run through my dose. So my dose runs my automatic daily water changing. Oh, my harlequin shrimp, yeah, he's pretty big. Like I said, I got two of them. One's a male, one's a female. I don't know where the other one is. But yeah. Yes, I have to put starfish in to feed them. What I end up doing, which by the way is not very fun, is I have a ton of, I have like 15 chocolate chip starfish in my large tank, and I cut off their feet. But you only have to do it like once, like every 2 weeks. So, however, they do like to eat leathers, I found out. So he loves to eat this leather. So that's fun. I actually have a video on installing my utility sink in the garage. There is a video on that. Yep, I feed them starfish toes, that's right. And for those that don't know, the starfish stay alive and they're fine. I've had most of the starfish grow their feet back already, and they do just fine. Tips on removing a rock nem from a rock. Oh, that's very difficult. I don't even have any tips on that, Lee. I just take the rock, chisel out the rock. What type of salt do you use? I've always used Tropic Marin Pro, and I will continue to always use Tropic Marin Pro. How many gallons do you make at a time, and how long do you store it? I have a 55-gallon drum, Alex. If you take a look at some of my past videos, I have a whole setup. You can take a look at everything. I make every 2 weeks 55 gallons. I don't really store it per se, but I do have a pump, recirculating pump in there. You can cut a foot and freeze it. Yeah, I could do that, but it's just easier just to go over to the other tank, cut a foot and just throw it in there. Worst pest I've ever had to deal with. Remitted snails suck. I got them in my 300 now. But that's really much the worst pest I've ever had. I'm pretty good about getting my coral and my fish from very, very good places. I don't ever buy anything that's wet from anyone other than 2 places. So I will never buy frags off of people. I will never go to a frag show and buy frags, never. That's just what I don't do. I have found, and I've said this many times on my streams, I buy from the same place every single time, no one else. Now, of course, if that company, Top Shelf Aquatics, goes out of business, then yes, I would have to find another source of my coral if I want to buy more coral. As you can see, I really don't need to buy more coral. And my fish, I've always got, and I've said this on my stream before, I've always got from Live Aquaria Divers Den. I've never bought any fish from anywhere else, and the only time that I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I no longer buy any fish from anywhere else because the one time I did, the fish had ick, and every time I bought from Divers Den, I've been very happy. The fish have been fantastic. You guys can look at all of my fish. They've always been bought from Divers Den, every single one of them. So again, my advice has always been for everybody that's watching, And I know it kind of sucks, but find a place and just buy everything from that one place. As you start to venture off in different areas and different places, getting it from people, all this other stuff, you have a chance for pests, you have a chance for parasites. You don't know what's in those people's tanks. Again, that's just my own personal opinion. I know people love to go to shows and get frags, and that's fine. Just make sure you're quarantining at least, or put it in a tank that you don't care that much about, and just see what happens for a month, and then put it in your big tank. I have not played with the Camor. We just got them in stock, so not even sure I'll even play with one. No, we don't have any good local fish stores in Arizona. Yeah, I mean, I dip all my corals obviously too, but dipping isn't always going to fix everything. So if you want to buy from 10 different places, that's fine, but have a frag tank that's separate from your main tank that you can monitor everything before you put it in your big tank. With me, I put everything right in the big tank. I don't have a frag tank or a quarantine tank. So I know if I buy all of my coral from Top Shelf, for example, because that's where I buy my corals from, that they're all going to be, in my opinion and my experience, pest free. They're going to live, they're going to do great. And that's why I buy all my corals from them. And I have for, what, 5 years? I mean, I've been doing it ever since I started really getting into coral tanks, you know. Have I ever lost a fish? When you say lost a fish, what do you mean? Of course I've had fish die, you know, unfortunately. But generally and I've had fish tanks since I was 6 years old. So once I learned about Live Aquaria and Diver's Den, I started buying all my fish from them, and every fish I've ever got from them has lived a long life, has been pest free, didn't have any ick or any problems with it whatsoever. But I haven't bought a fish in a long time, so. All right, folks, we are getting, we're getting a little bit late, so we're gonna run the contest now. So let's see, by and large, top shows, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and run the contest, and the winner today is going to win a Klir Filter. It's the DI7. That is what we're giving away today. So let's see who our winner is. Our winner today is, he should still be here, is Aaron's Aquaculture. You are the winner, my friend. Hopefully you have a use for this. Obviously, I know how to get a hold of him. So let's make sure he's still here. If he's not still here, then we will re-roll. So, oh, there he is. So anyway, I just want to say this before I go. I'm still trying to make some videos. Again, I've been busy. I want to make more videos. I want to be more around for my live stream, so I'm going to try. With that being said, of course, I always appreciate everyone and all of your support that you've provided. And all I ask in return is that you continue to watch my videos, you continue to share my videos, and it really helps me. And as I said in the past, it'd be nice to do this full time. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time, and if I was making the money I could make, then I could do it, you know, and having more subscribers, maybe I can make some more money and do this full time, but I can't, unfortunately. Yeah, the camera didn't go out. How about that, guys? So again, thanks again. Again, I appreciate it. I got some videos. I just have to edit them. I hope you had a good time and hope I answered some questions for you. Peace.